Many of you saw my last demonstration of body in motion. I don't want you to have to watch it again. Anyway, 3 years ago, 3 very, very long years ago, you bravely started something called BTB Feng Shui Masters Training Program. And likely your family and friends said, what? Despite what you read, despite what we told you about it, I'm pretty sure, because I was a student once myself, that you came here without a clue and were shocked after the first weekend and said, whoa. You really had no idea what you were getting into. But you trusted us and you put your lives in our hands. And for me personally, having been a student and now a teacher, it's really such an honor to know that you guys come to us with open hearts and willing souls and ask us to share what we've experienced or learned. And for me, that's the biggest growth in this training, is watching you interact with us and grow. But today we're here to celebrate you. This is the end of your formal training. And if you noticed on your certificates, we put a nice shiny gold seal with the BTB impression in the Gun area of the Bhagavad. Now, my mentor said that the reason that they put it there initially was because it represented the stopping of your training. It was the end. I'd like to think that it's a lot more than that. That gold seal with its shine and its sparkle and the name and all that other stuff is empowering you in everything that you've learned and everything that you don't yet know that you learned from this training. It should allow you to go out there and shine. Now, I know I'm a little biased, but I think this is the best program out there. And there are a lot of practitioners who call themselves certified after a weekend of training. You know, and you guys have put it all on the line for 3 years. So we want you to shine. We know you can shine. We saw you this morning shining. Your talks were amazing. And I remember, as one of, who said, you said to me, Jane said to me, that I called her up to say, and what is your project? You guys were very kind to me. I will say that. Let me thank you now, I'm thinking of it, for your support all during last year. After I injured myself, while I was injuring myself, and taking care of me after that. I mean, you guys came together like my family. You know, and those who couldn't physically be there were sending me good chi all the time, so I appreciate that, right? But, you know, I didn't really have that much connection with you for a long time, and I want to thank my partners for stepping in for me, because I really was out. You wouldn't have wanted me talking to you while I was on those drugs. I would have made no sense at all, right? But I appreciated everything that you did. But I also want you to know that we believe in you probably more than you believe in yourself. So we want you to go out there and know that if we believe in you and we're your teachers, believe us. You're good. You're great. You can do it. But with all apprenticeships, and this was an apprenticeship, there's an ending too. Right? So you come to the formal ending, but as we keep telling you, you can keep coming back. Judith and I, like I said, we met in the backs of the rooms. We just kept coming back. Okay? So when you're in an apprenticeship the way we've been in, because I did it too, this program gives you the rules, and it gives you the tools, and it gives you a whole bag of tricks. Like Barry said, maybe a few too many. Maybe we confused you sometimes, but we wanted to give you a taste of everything. There's so much we want you to have. right? So we just want you to remember that the biggest tool in this whole thing is you. I've been saying it from the beginning that I felt that coming here, my job was, okay, I got all the knowledge, I got all that stuff, but my job was to perfect myself, or at least, maybe not perfect myself, maybe let me take that back, to learn how this instrument that I was given by God works. Lord knows, for the first 40 or 50 years of my life, it just tortured me, right? But that same body that was super sensitive to everything around me is my instrument. We wanted you all to learn how did your instrument work and to trust it, to really, really trust it, because nothing else matters, right? Anyway, so you've got all those rules, you've got a big full bag of tricks and stuff like that, and you've done it. And I want to say congratulations, we're going to party tonight, and we're not going to stop partying until you've got it all out of your system. The hard work is done, but I hate to tell you, the harder work is just begun, right? So when you go out there and you begin your new roles, whatever they be, and they can be many, Lord knows, we know from seeing who our graduates were in the past, there are many ways you can take what we've given you and make your life spectacular, right? But we want you to know that we are with you, that we're always here for you to come back to us at any time. We will always help you and learn from one another. But we want you to trust that the most important thing besides all that book learning is who you are. And for that, we are very, very proud. So what did I learn, and I'm assuming you did too from this training? Okay, starting from the Tao, it's all about nature. Well, great. Well, what do we do with that? Well, we observe nature. We pay attention to nature. More important, we just pay attention. We don't get caught up in our cell phones when we're on the street. You open yourself up and watch and ask, what is that? Why is that happening? Oh, why did I feel that way? Because that's going to be your greatest teacher. That's the most important tool that I think we've given you. I'd say be humble, be true, be honest. I mean, after all, we're Feng Shui practitioners. If we tried not being honest, would the rest of us know? So, you know people are going to read your Qi, right? We talked about it this morning, how you stand, how you speak. People are reading your energy all the time. And the other thing that Professor taught us, or taught me anyway, was it was all about the Qi. And it was about your Qi. And it was about the people that you're helping. So don't be selfish in taking care of yourself. Do what we've taught you to do, right? You've been trained very, very well in reading Qi, right? So take it and use it to your advantage. I wrote a note down here that, the other thing I learned from Professor is that Qi doesn't move in a straight line, right? So when you're following the Qi, if you think you're off track, you're probably not. There's probably a turn in the road, whether it's for you to learn something or maybe for you to teach something. We never know when we come in close with another person what we're sharing with each other. It's all happening on a whole nother level. So just trust that if you were put in a certain place, there's a reason for you to be there. Right? And you may not know for a long time. Right? And always, and I know you guys are going to do this, you do the right thing, not just because, just because it doesn't work with the karma not to, right? I remember when Professor taught us before the recession, he did a whole weekend workshop in Boston about how to prepare for the upcoming recession. And I know you guys know this. But the most important thing that came out of that was do good deeds. Do good deeds. I scratched my head for a long time on that one, And then I realized, he was trying to get us to open up the channels. So that if we wanted something to happen, we had to give something and keep the energy flowing. So I trust that you have learned that and more, and you can probably tell many, many, many stories about your 3 years here. But I hope you come back. And if you do tell those stories, please put us on your list. We want to read about them. We want to know how you touched us. And right now, Chungto, I want to tell you that in the story that you told us, this is the first time that I truly felt profoundly connected to my ancestors from 18,000 years ago. I felt like we were sitting around a campfire, and my cousins, and I'm getting chills as I'm saying this, my cousins were sitting around talking about our great-great-great uncles. I was almost in tears. It was incredible. So you're part of this family. We don't want to lose you. You know me, I'm a fire person. Once I've got you, I don't want to let you out of my sight. So please come back, and congratulations, you've been spectacular. You've been the greatest class. You've been crazy, wonderful, loving, wild, just my type, Sicilian, just like my family. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
I'll make a few comments based on some things that have been said. The seal in Gun position. Gun, as you know, represents both skillfulness and self-cultivation and knowledge. And Gun is also a mountain. You need to continue to climb that mountain. You need, as you continue to move forward in the world, to continue to evolve, to make every day an opportunity for that. From the moment you wake up in the morning, you can calm your heart or use other meditative methods. His Holiness Luntha Tenpe Nima gave a practice to do morning and evening that I do every day because I took a vow to do so. And as you continue to explore the relationship between nature and self-nature, between your being and your emptiness, I think you'll find a lot of delight and a lot of joy in embodying the universal, and in doing so in a way that goes beyond the sense of the solid self that we normally find ourselves caught up in. I spent the last few days with my grandson, who's now 2.5 months old, and the skandhas are not operating quite yet, and yet there's a tremendous openness. So whether we are babies or old people, whether we are women or men, and in fact one of my heroes, the psychoanalytical founder, Georg Grodek, says that in each of us there's a young person, an old person, a woman and a man. To continue that process of appreciation, of evolution, and also a process that is informed by kindness, by the ability, if only for a moment, to put another before yourself, or maybe an inch ahead of oneself, and to take advantage of the profound opportunity to connect with such a wisdom lineage. Professor Lin Yun sought out the Burn tradition in India, and there were 3 visits exchanged, and then about 10 years ago, Professor Lin was enthroned as a Rinpoche in the Burn tradition. At least from my historical studies, the 2 traditions in China and Tibet separated for at least 1,100–1,200 years, although one time Chungto told me that the Tibetan Burn were looking for their Chinese brethren for, I believe you said, Chungto, 8,000 years. And so in our lifetime, we've seen a reconnection of these 2 traditions. And you become the heir to that meeting, to that marriage, to that joining of traditions. And so having the experience of being the heir of such deep traditions means that you must take it further. Professor Lin often would comment, there's a saying in Chinese that purple comes from blue. And a good student is purple, even more purple than the original blue of the teacher. But one time at a graduation here, he was saying this, and he was wearing a cheongsam, a Chinese robe, that was purple, and I was able to touch it and say, you can really see it was purple. But being that as it may, it's your responsibility to surpass your teachers and also to appreciate that at a certain point, the teachings have to become the teacher. And as you go through each day, let the teachings guide you. Don't forget what you've learned. Continue to practice. Make it yours. And use it not only to help yourself, which as Barry said is extremely important, because that's the only basis by which you'll really be able to continue to offer help to others. So not only continue to help yourself, but find ways to put loving kindness, compassion, and a little bit of wisdom into the process. Stop facing your problems when they occur, not avoiding them. Because if you face a problem, then you can deal with the problem. And then you can use your wisdom and some softness to overcome hardness, to find the way forward. And so in that way, your problems become tremendous opportunities. And whatever may be discordant in your life becomes the very food that you can eat and transform until it becomes the nectar of enlightenment. So, hope you enjoy the banquet in that spirit.
Thank you so much, Stephen. That reminds me, and I have to remind myself that, you know, when we go in and somebody's hiring us, it's like, what are we going to fix? But it's so useful to say what is working in an environment, what's supporting somebody. So, you know, it's also about enhancing the good stuff, not just looking for what's wrong or what's to fix. So, you know, always looking for that within ourselves and others is so valuable. Thank you. So, banquet. You know, guys, I'm going to have to miss the banquet because my 90-year-old mom had already gotten me a theater ticket for tonight, but I know how wonderful it is, so I'm hoping you all enjoy it. And at this point, we're going to have a closing. No, we're not going to have a closing. No. Oh, no, I blew it. Yeah, all right, I'm going to practice for next year. If you ask me again, I don't know. Yes, usually the class designates somebody to speak for the class, but as we're saying, this is such a special group that, you know, nobody was going to give away to anybody else, but everybody would like to say a few words. So I don't have any order. I'm just going to let you guys rush the microphone and do what you do. Oh, yeah.
Who said, oh, just get me, I'm not gonna...
You passed your 4th grade fear.
I do want to say that I am so grateful and thankful for my teachers because we have the best teachers you could possibly have. You can tell that they love what they do. They stand behind it. It's in their heart. And you never feel alone. You can always call on them, and they get back to you right away. And I love you all. I love you. And I love my classmates.
So, I'm going to thank you separately and privately because I'll cry and then Angie will make fun of me. And I'll actually read something I wrote on my paper because there were many thoughts. But this program is sort of like upgrading your operating system, I would say. It's like a major download, which we clearly just got today in a really big way. I actually did burst into tears, but I hid behind Kyoko. My friends and family, what? Yeah, I'm not allowed to stay small anymore. So my friends and family, 2 who are 3, have known me like my entire life, can attest to the actual results and shifts that occur, which you've all experienced too. It's like you function at a higher vibration with more tools to excel and heal and change and be more light-filled. The irony that I'm now moving into the 4th place since I started the program is sort of interesting, but the amount of crap that I am not bringing with me each time is exponential. Even to the point that I looked at 25 apartments in the past 6 weeks, and the old me would go, oh, be appreciative, like, oh, you can make it nice, oh, and no, beat it. She's nuts, someone died here, run, like hell. So I don't do that anymore, and then I found the perfect place, and I didn't settle. So I'm very appreciative and very excited to make it mine for my family. What I did, there are poignant things I think for each of you, so many things that we've learned to be thankful for that you've imparted to us with your love and knowledge and openness and patience. We are not an easy group. Every graduate has told us that we are a pain in the neck. But that being said, we learned a lot, which I guess is the point. One thing that all of you have said, which the agreement factor is always intriguing, because if you ask each of them a question, you get a different answer, but all of you have said that we should trust our intuition. And that is so huge of a gift, because we are magical beings, and we are trying to reconnect with that power from 18,000 years ago and nature. Rosalie, one of the most poignant things that I feel you've said is, well, your outside is a reflection of the inside. When things are crazy, meditate. I thought, ugh, okay, so I meditated, and it shifts. Barry, you have offered the gift of the magic of the arts. It's just magic. Everything that you do is magic. It's transformative. Stephen, you have made Chinese everything less daunting. I mean, now I feel like, oh, okay, I'm right. I can learn that. It's not the mystery land. It's not, it's open. It's like, wait, what? Now I know at least what I don't know. That's my starting point. So thank you for each of your teachings. We have so enjoyed being part of everything that this program offers and what you've imparted to us. And it's, you know, I think it graces our lives for many lifetimes, past and future.
Teachers. As I said this morning, my life has transformed, but I think you made my life transform. So thank you so much. I was not able to do that without your help. And also thank you for this class. I transitioned to the previous year to this class, and I was attached to my original class. So it was a hard decision, but everybody welcomed me, and I enjoyed it so much, and everybody was so sweet. So thank you so much.
I wanted to say that it's extremely privileged to have studied with 3 teachers like all of you, because you're so experienced and knowledgeable that it's something that you can't find. And the fact that you all 3 together is like, it's even more powerful because you have such different experiences and such like strong energy in a different way that it's really, I'm really thankful for this. And I'm happy because we have a strong tool that we can use to help others and ourselves. And also it helps raise awareness in the universe and raise the level, the energetical level in the universe. So thank you very much.
Well, I have to say more than thank you. It's just a pleasure being every time 3 months from Orlando. It became a journey, and it became a pleasure to be in a place that in another place that it was not familiar for me. I was familiar in my country, I was familiar with my family, I felt comfortable. So I passed that door through the comfort zone, and I really appreciate Rosalind gave me that opportunity because I called 2 years before to come to the program, and I didn't have the, I believe, the strong energy in place to do that. So now I understand why. now, and I really appreciate, Rosalind, you just told me, go. I said, where? I don't know, but you just go. I was like, okay, I just go. So I was just following, go. So I really appreciate, Rosalind, that pushed me to do things that I start knowing from Barry, start knowing from Stephen, and from all my friends. I mean, now it has been a pleasure. Gayla also came to the program, and then more people talking about Feng Shui. It was like, wow, that's a huge world. So I'm now here 3 years after applying it, and I feel, whoa, I have a lot to do. So thank you. Thank you.
Guys, you have to admit this is better than hearing one person. We had a little group discussion amongst us. So, thank you, you're welcome, guys. Anyway, Stephen, as I said to you before, when you were saying you weren't sure about the certification based on if we finished all requirements, and I said to Stephen, I don't really know why you're getting the master's of certificate. Of certification, because I feel like I'm a master learner of Feng Shui. I don't know if it has happened to you guys, but when Fiona was talking, I'm like, oh my God, where did she learn that? Like you just never quite feel like you're there, right? So thank you guys for accepting us all the time at our level and being so kind. You always have a kind word and a kind acceptance of us when we approach, even if it's not a good time, you tell us that nicely. So, yes, now I eat, breathe, and think and live Feng Shui, because the first time we did a consultation and Barry was saying, well, can't you see the place is very metal, which meant it was really cluttered and a few things. Now I'm thinking, I think in Feng Shui, everything is Feng Shui thinking. And, it's always been a very safe space for those of us who are very vulnerable at times. And I must say that I'm so grateful to you guys that nothing was ever repeated outside of the classroom. It was very nice that whatever happened in Vegas stayed in Vegas. And I love that it was a very family-like atmosphere. These are all selling points. You can call them. Right? Because no matter how much we got on each other's nerves, we were able to come back the next day and smile like a family. Like at the Thanksgiving table. And the next thing that I want to say, very important that I've just learned, Feng Shui is like curry. Feng Shui, everything. What did you say, like curry? Feng Shui is like curry. You can curry chicken, you can curry beef.
They came to us and said, if you want to do, some real Feng Shui, you just want to do Feng Shui, there's another class, you can get it in a weekend or something. And I'm thinking, how are you even going to be able to stand in front of someone and be real and show them anything with an education like that? And although this was 3 years and it was hard, I am grateful as hell. Thank you.
I didn't know Angie was so funny.
You've been missing.
Keep practicing. I signed up for beginning of my program. So, let's see. Most of you know the poem in 20
was the night before Christmas. I'm not going to recite that poem, but the first two lines, I was sort of thinking, so here's what I came up with. "'Twas the first day of Feng Shui class, and "'twas the first day of Feng Shui, and all through the class, not a creature was stirring except the mantras." And that was always the beginning, of course, of our classes and our days. We're sharing the mantras and chanting together. And it was, I have to say that as a result of the training, which I sort of faded in and out of, so I'm, I have a long learning curve still to come up. What I am taking away and what has become more and more a part of me is thinking about energy. When I'm just sort of aware of the whole concept of energy, whether within me, within my home, within people, whether it's moving, whether it's stuck. And I'm really intrigued by the whole concept of energy and all the different energy circles that are, kind of around. And I'm very grateful for that. And more and more there's sort of red ribbons. Red ribbons are kind of circling around, and that's a really great concept. And so thank you, and Junto, thank you for coming and reminding us of your tradition, which is where this knowledge has come from 18,000 years. Because when I was 19, I learned to meditate, transcendental meditation. And one of the things when Maharishi spoke, always, and he was, made sure he had himself videotaped, is he always had a poster above him, as your banner there, above him, and there was always the lineage of the masters there to remind people that he was the latest in a long line of masters, and that he came from this tradition, and it was always to honor the people and the knowledge before him. And so here, your presence is a wonderful reminder and connection energetically to that from a long time ago, and to all my classmates, all your different wonderful personalities. I hope we all get together again. I don't know how. I don't know if we're all going to go to Los Angeles or how this is going to transpire, but I hope we all do. Thank you.
Jorge.
I'm Giorgio, I'm Jorge, I'm George. Okay, I just gotta say thank you for everybody here to show up and support us today, in a special day that we have it all together. Thank you, everybody. And also I have to say thank you to Yuri, because she's been part of this ceremony. And also Barbie, Rosalie, NSD, and thank you for just doing the wonderful job for us, at least. I don't know for the other people, but I mean, you did a wonderful job. You did, it was special for us to just having you to just take part of the ceremony, and thank you for the whole group, and it was a wonderful class, I had a wonderful experience. Get along pretty much with everybody, even with Kitty. Then she was a little tough with me and Kitty, but now we're very good friends. Thank you so much.
Maybe someone on the floor.
Oh, that's gonna mess up this.
Do a wrap.
That's not us. Must be picking up on something.
I'm on the battery.
George, you put your energy out here. Like, thanks.
Turn off the mic and just talk. Just turn it off and talk, because you have a deep voice.
Where is it?
Getting help.
Is it off?
So I just put it away.
No, just project.
Clicking.
Just project.
That's how it started.
Somebody has to turn power.
Our graduation.
Oh, man. Oh, man. First of all,
Yeah, this one's working.
I'm going to try that one. I probably don't even need a mic.
That's what I'm trying to
I'm pretty loud as it is.
There we go, the battery's going. Well, they take it too long.
All right.
Okay, so I'll just project like I do every day. And then I go home and everybody in the house is like, you're yelling! All right, Stephen, thank you for the history. Enlightening me to the history of the tradition that we have all come into. Barry, I hesitantly thank you for bringing the spirits forward. Sometimes I have a hard time sleeping or going to the bathroom at 2:30 in the morning. I refuse to look in mirrors in the dark because I don't know what's going to be there. And Rosalie, thank you for the astrology. You know, that's really close to my heart, obviously. To my class, I'm going to try not to get emotional. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see anybody very well. So that's really good for, yeah, I see you. I think of the day that Michael said to me, hey Mel, you want to go to this class with me at the Open Center? And me being very grounded, earthy, loving Michael said, absolutely. And then maybe the day before I said, where are we going? And we came to Rosalie and who presented?
Danita?
Danita. I think you and Danita did an intro class. And we sat behind two knuckleheads. And I looked at Michael and I said, oh my God, we are so taking this class. And then I said to them, are you guys taking this class? And they were like, yeah, are you guys taking this class? And we're like, we're in. Now, what that was
We had already signed up.
Yeah.
We sat in the front row.
And then everybody kind of came together in this like symbiotic relationship that to me has been so transformative. What every individual brings to our class is amazing to me. I don't know, just in my personal experience. We are very strong energies, in case nobody has ever noticed. We are, when we get together, even lining up for graduation. There were 10 chiefs in the line and no Indian. It was just like, no, you're supposed to be here. No, you're here. You know, that is us. After 3 years, so imagine us 3 years ago when we all got together. And actually, it was quite different. We were all very closed. We were very fearful. We were searching for something that we did not know what it was. And in the past 3 years, we have experienced what we didn't know we were looking for in everybody here, in our teachers, in our lineage, and in everybody who graduated before us, and everybody who comes after us, our supporters, anyone that's in our lives that has helped us to transform into this new being that we are and we continue to transform into. So thank you, because you guys were the most transforming for me, and to you guys for giving me the knowledge to transform. So thank you.
That's exactly what I was thinking. No, I think I just wanted to go back to our first year. We had the opportunity to travel to California, and we had the opportunity to visit Stephen up at Mount Tamalpais, and it kind of reflected his. It reflected.
What happened to the mic? Michael has it.
Oh, come on.
We visited Stephen at Mount Tamalpais, and we kind of got the essence of Stephen in that place, who he is. And then we had the opportunity also in that same trip to come up to Sonoma and meet Gabe and Barry. They opened their door to us, not knowing really who we were. And visit.
Boy, you make mistakes.
And we really enjoyed the visit too. Obviously, with Rosalie, all the time that we spent with you has been absolutely wonderful. So getting to know the three of you personally has, in addition to all of your teachings, has affected us and changed our lens in the way we operate in the world. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have to change the format every year. All the students should speak. That was fabulous. I think I was going to send you off without even hearing.
Well, not every class is like this.
You really get that. Yeah. Thank you. It's beautiful to hear you all.
You said you have stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Because these are functionally bar night.
Functionally bar night is what this is. Okay. So, well, I think Barry and Stephen are going to lead us. Am I correct?
We are.
Closing. And so we have pictures and do some other things. The Open Center has our timeline on it. We don't have making it up right now. Yeah. Making it up. Okay, Eric, just would you come up for a second?
This way and really, work with the center because we are a nonprofit, as you know. So it is a challenging time at times, but you have a lot of great strength and a lot of love to give and a lot of healing that people are going to be looking to you for. So sending you out to the world. Thank you so much.
So I think Araceli deserves a special acknowledgement for not only the support of this program, but for being a woman of courage and appropriateness, day by day. And Barry and I were just discussing how we would conclude this, and we think a good way will be for all of us to chant the constantly turning Dharma version of the 6 words. So let's do that to
visualize
three rounds, visualize the
colors,
constantly Dharma wheel,
like the rainbow.
colors, and so forth. So, yes.
This is from the representative from all your this year's students. And normally our culture is a gift for all your teachers. So we have 3 teachers, and normally students stand up and they give to the teachers for the things. So today I have no idea, all you think they are divided into 3 groups and comes up. And the one white for the Rosalie. Yeah, first group. Yeah, all, everyone. All 4 people or 5. And give you just stand out there and stand. And give on the all right, that is all right, now second group.
No, here's the third group.
Thank you, Mika. And last, our first group.
Nice color.
All right. And give thanks for your teacher.
Thank you.
Long life.
Om
And let's reinforce this for health, blessings, long life, all good things for all of us and for all beings with the three secret reinforcements. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Great blessings to you all. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So beautiful. I'm thrilled to have been part of this ceremony. So now I think we're going to invite everybody else for group pictures, right? The graduates with the three teachers and Shui. So I'm happy to take any pictures.
So Stephen, how did you get involved in all this? What's your background?
Well, my involvement with Feng Shui really began as a little boy of 4 or 5. I was walking down the block from my parents' house in the Bronx to my aunt's house, and I saw the sun shining on a vacant lot and had what is called a classic extroverted mystical experience, kind of like ingesting the world. And at that point I decided that I would create a language that would not only describe but attempt to embody that dimension of the inspiration aspect of nature. I did create such a language, and in a sense have been on that path ever since. Another key moment was my involvement with the natural world in high school and in college. Growing up in New York City, the parks were my great refuge. I was a student of mythology. My high school hero, Joseph Campbell, later became a teacher and friend, and that dimension led me to research nature in relationship to religion. I was also a first-generation hippie, and that certainly had a significant, inspiring dimension. And in the Summer of Love, I and a friend traveled 14,000 miles around the United States, visiting San Francisco in the so-called Summer of Love, and I spent one evening on a sacred mountain, Mount Tamalpais, in Marin County, just north of San Francisco. Then, in 1970, I returned specifically to the Bay Area to visit Mount Tamalpais. I became fire lookout there, and that led me to make a commitment to learn whatever I could about Feng Shui, geomancy, earth mysteries, and now it's 46 years as fire lookout. I'm senior lookout and a training officer. What was originally a job has now become a volunteer activity, and the mountain has been one of my most important teachers. One of the great masters, early forefather named Greenbird in China, spent many years at the top of Mount Li, and by seeing where the clouds would gather, where they wouldn't, where animals would go, where it was arid, where lush, created some of the first language of the forms of the earth we still have. And so my experience has been parallel. I began doing scholarly work in Feng Shui, began teaching some courses, and heard that a master, His Holiness Professor Lin Yun, was giving a class. I attended that class, the only non-Chinese speaker in the class. When we bowed to each other, I knew I'd found an important master, and I had the opportunity of being with him for about 35 years or longer, and it was Professor Lin Yun who asked me to found the BTB Feng Shui Masters Professional Program in Feng Shui.
So what year was that was founded?
1995. I and two colleagues founded that program. We actually started here in New York, our partner being the New York Open Center. The program existed at many levels on both coasts for many years. And now we are fortunate to be part of the New York Open Center School of Holistic and Professional Learning. And in its 20th year, our program has been approved by New York State as part of the New York Open Center School of Holistic and Professional Learning, which is the New York State Licensed Career School. And this is really in the direction of a first toward mainstreaming Feng Shui.
Right. And how long is this program?
This program has a duration of 3 years, and I actually selected that based on traditional pedagogy in China, where it was said to take 3 years to evaluate the qi of the earth and 10 years to find the optimal site, the so-called dragon's lair. So we are the longest duration formal training that gives people a legitimate foundation to practice in an area which is ongoing for a lifetime.
And where do your students come from?
Well, they come from all over the world,
Really?
Principally from the New York area at learning here, but we have students from Europe, from Asia, from the East Coast, the West Coast, quite a broad student body. We've had students from South America, students from Russia, students from all over Europe, and a remarkable broad variety of students.
And as far as the students, how would this benefit students? Do they become Feng Shui practitioners and consultants? Do they just do it for their own improvement and benefit?
Both of those are the case.
Really?
Some students join our program from the standpoint of self-development, personal growth. Others want to become Feng Shui professionals, and quite a number are very successful as Feng Shui professionals, and many others also use what they've learned as an adjunct to a career as an interior designer, as an architect, or as an adjunct to another professional.
Any last thoughts to give us?
Simply that Feng Shui has been my life's passion, one way I've met the world, and I delight in developing students, assisting their growth, helping their professional development, in a community that focuses on compassion and on the liberation of the world.
Well, thank you for clarifying all that. I've always wondered what Feng Shui was really about until I started taking the class and started learning how involved it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. And now we're here with Rosalie Principali. And Rosalie, how did you get started in Feng Shui? What was your interest in it?
Well, first, I want to thank you for having me here, and it's so good to be here.
Most welcome.
My background is very different than the other teachers that I'm teaching with, because I come from the business world. I was in business all of my life, and mostly on Wall Street.
Wow.
But even while I was on Wall Street, I always had interest in astrology, energy healing, holistic, anything that was holistic. So I was always I always felt like I was standing on either side of the Grand Canyon, you know, and one foot on either side kind of thing. But somehow it all made sense to me. And then when I got laid off because my division was eliminated, I went a little bit deeper into energy healing. At some point along the way, I also studied Taoism with Montauk Chia, so I got a little bit of a taste of what Taoism was about. Interestingly enough, they had a Feng Shui class in their summer program, and I thought, oh, no interest. But then years later, I came across the a two-day intro at the New York Open Center, and I said, wow, sounds interesting. And I went to hear, at the time the teachers were all teaching together, so it was both Stephen and Barry and Edgar, one of the original founders here. And I thought, yeah, this is it. It felt like I had finally found the big umbrella under which everything fit.
And who is Edgar?
Edgar is one of the 3 original founders,
Oh.
and when he retired, I replaced him.
I see, okay. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, yes, what I would want to say is that this training and this program, and Feng Shui in general, is so important regardless of whether you practice Feng Shui or whether you go in, you combine it with what you're already doing, or whether you just use it as a way to wake up to what's going on around you.
So it makes you more aware, you're saying?
Absolutely.
Of everything, more alive.
You need to, most people are not present these days. As
Right.
walking around New York City, you can see.
So it keeps the energy moving.
And it keeps us awake and aware. And keeps us safe, actually.
Right. Here we are with Barry Garden, a teacher and mentor at the BTB Master's Program. And would you tell us more about what that is?
The BTB Master's Program started out as a Feng Shui training, but our school of Feng Shui is really very shamanic. It comes from Tibet, from very ancient shamanic practices. So it's really a training in learning how to transform yourself, and through that transformation, learning how to help other people help themselves, to transform themselves, to grow and evolve. You know, our teacher, Professor Lin, said that he's teaching a method that then everyone has to take and fit into their own culture. So a lot of the techniques we teach are Chinese. I teach a lot of Western techniques that just easily fit into your life. All the techniques, though, are easy to transform into something you can actually use yourself without the Chinese or Hindu or other Tibetan jargon or deities or rituals. So it's really about learning the underlying principles of the techniques and then making them your own. The important thing is that we teach students many techniques from many traditions that they can use themselves to improve their own lives, and then because they're doing that, they know how to use them with other people. So Ho'oponopono, Feel Free Fast, they're all very powerful ways that people can transform themselves. Feel Free Fast is like having a delete button on your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is like a computer, and you can just delete programs that you no longer want in your subconscious mind that cause you problems. So we teach techniques like that, and it's a 3-year program. Over the 3 years, people totally transform their lives.